Forbes, and I just want to make it clear again, Nick.
It's not his position to make it very fucking clear.
The AEW had so much momentum at this time last year. CM Punk, Adam Cole, and Daniel Bryan all debuted in a 2-week stretch. Now that the initial phase is over with debuts, the AEW's momentum has taken a dive, especially considering recent events. But it's not just the incident with CM Punk that drove things into a downward spiral. Why is the viewership of AEW constantly decreasing? What impact does the Backstage Brawl entail? And what does it mean for the future of AEW? Well, let's answer some of these questions. This is a mild grievance, but it's a grievance that fans have. So let's get it out of the way. I'm talking about blood. Sometimes the AEW gives us too much of a good thing, which causes it to lose its impact and meaning. As an old ECW fan, I like hardcore matches and blood as much as the next guy, but sometimes it just uses too much and it loses its meaning. Blood should not be used every week to the point where it or a wrestler associated with it, Moxley, becomes a meme. Blading should maybe happen once or twice a month when it's for a blow-off or a meaningful match. Showing it so often conditions the audience to it, and it loses its impact. Hardcore, no DQ, unsanctioned matches happen frequently, and they lose impact and meaning. I love the Hardy Boys as much as anyone, but having essentially a TLC match 3 times a month for 2 months in a row, it makes it lose its charm. Table spots, dives to the outside, and other spectacles that should be exciting seem to have lost what makes them special. This is a perfect example. A gimmick chair shot to the head. When MJF took one 3 months ago, it was a shocking moment for the crowd because it's rarely done. But if this were 2001 and they were seen every week, it would just be commonplace and lose meaning. I love the AEW, but I think sometimes they go overboard on some of this stuff. And before someone says, well, if you don't like that, don't watch, a person can enjoy something but still be critical. These are two things that are not mutually exclusive. But these are not the significant issues to really beat the AEW up about. It's an entertainment product, after all. This brings me to the problem that has recently plagued the company. After All Out, a real-life backstage brawl erupted between CM Punk on one side and the Young Bucks plus Kenny Omega on the other. Everyone involved in the melee was suspended. Unfortunately, almost everyone involved was a champion of some kind, which is why both the AEW and Trios championships were vacated. Punk's explosive comments during AEW All Out's post-show press conference precipitated the fight. Punk, whose real name is Phil Brooks, lashed out in a profanity-rich tirade at Hangman Adam Page, Nick and Matt Jackson, and Colt Cabana. He criticized the Young Bucks, who are both active performers and executive vice presidents of the AEW. Punk described them as irresponsible people who call themselves EVPs, who couldn't fucking manage a target. What does Hangman Adam Page have to do with any of this? CM Punk defeated Hangman Adam Page to win the AEW Championship at Double or Nothing back in May. Punk and Page had many storyline confrontations in the build-up to their pay-per-view clash, and Punk took exception to comments Page made in one segment, saying, "You talk a big game about workers' rights. Well, you've shown the exact opposite since you've gotten here." That was a quote from Page, seeming as a reference to Colt Cabana potentially being let go due to Punk. Page also noted in the promo that he wanted to protect the AEW from Punk. As always in pro wrestling, the line between reality and fiction isn't clear. It's also not clear precisely what comment Punk took issue with. At All Out's post-show scrum, Punk quickly addressed the lingering tensions. And just so you know, there isn't an official account of what occurred backstage during Punk's comments. Punk is reported to have taken a swing at Matt Jackson, and Nick Jackson reportedly sustained a blow to the eye after Steele threw a chair at him. It all puts AEW founder Tony Khan in a very awkward position, especially since this is not the first time something like this has happened. A few weeks ago, news broke that Eddie Kingston was suspended for 2 weeks for a backstage confrontation. Kingston palm-shoved Guevara in the face following a disagreement, earning him the suspension. Khan now has to deal with a much bigger altercation involving stars more integral to AEW. Punk is the company's top star, and Omega and the Young Bucks are featured stars and executives. Punk became the AEW champion on Sunday, and Omega and the Young Bucks won the AEW Trios Championship titles. So what's the fallout going to be? What does this all mean for the future of AEW? Well, let's look at the real game changer, CM Punk. Punk is arguably the biggest draw the AEW has. Since his debut last year, the promotion has seen significant growth in ratings, tickets, and merchandise sales. He's also helped them achieve their highest ever pay-per-view purchase rates, bringing new eyes and fans to the product. If this situation leads to Punk quitting the AEW, they will lose their biggest draw, with many newer and casual fans turning away from the product. Tony Khan does not have a draw as big as Punk, so losing him could potentially cause a lot of damage. Like him or not, Punk has definitely had a legendary career in pro wrestling. His straightforward and vocal nature has a fan base of its own. And it's not just the fans either. He has a lot of supporters in the locker room as well. Many wrestlers idolize him and look up to him as one of the best ever to step foot inside a ring. It would not be a surprise if a few other wrestlers also left the AEW in support of the straight-edge superstar, and that will surely affect them in a big way and damage their reputation a lot. Here's another issue. When all of this started, Tony Khan assigned the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, and Cody Rhodes as executive vice presidents of the AEW. They drew many eyes towards the promotion and got a lot of new wrestlers to sign with the company. Although Tony Khan has creative control as president and head booker of the AEW, the elite were involved in the company's decision-making and had varying levels of creative power behind the scenes. But as time passed by, their influence backstage started to fade away. That seems especially true after CM Punk joined the promotion. Now, if Punk leaves the AEW, a lot of power may again fall into the hands of Omega and the Bucks. Khan could allow them to have more input and control, since he'll no longer be under Punk's influence. But by this point, they aren't people's favorites in the locker room, and it's anyone's bet how things will go down under their influence. And of course, that affects the reputation of the AEW. Things like backstage altercations and wrestlers calling out their co-workers publicly leave a lasting effect on the company's reputation. And on top of that, the owner not doing anything to stop it from escalating further is definitely not a good look. Recent events have generated a lot of negative PR for the promotion among fans, the media, and the entire pro wrestling industry. No wrestler likes or wants to be part of a controversy that could affect their career. After this, many wrestlers who might have been looking to join the AEW will rethink their decision. They might even end up not going there at all to avoid controversies. This could be a big hit for the AEW in the future, especially since their viewership has been declining in recent days. And you know what? This is also sad because the AEW has one of the most professional work environments in the entire industry. In fact, Tony Storm admitted that, quote, "It's been really nice. Everyone is really happy. Everyone I'm around is feeling really proud to be there. I love it. I think it's a really nice locker room," unquote. So for the company to get lousy PR after a single bad incident isn't entirely fair. So what does it look like for the company moving forward? I think the incident will settle down after a while once the noise dies down. CM Punk will be out of action for 8 months because of his injury, which should give people plenty of time to cool down and get their heads back in the game. After all, this isn't the first time someone has addressed backstage issues in public. It's a lot more common than you think. All I know is that we saw CM Punk get back in action last year, and it would be a shame to see him go too soon. So, there you have it. I hope this video offers some good insight into the problems the AEW is currently facing. If you enjoyed it, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more content just like this. And as always, thanks for watching.